What is up, guys? Last episode in our Python series with Blender, we covered how to scale up our character. Well, in this episode I'm going to be showing you how to write a function where we can just call it and then type in a few numbers, and it will just scale it up for us. So let's get started. Let's go from default to game logic and Blender render to Blender game. So come down here to sensors, add an always sensors, and click these three dots so that it's always running it at the fastest rate it can, and then add a Python controller. So now it's always going to be running our Python script. So let's go from templates, Python, and go to game logic simple. So let's just change this. Let's just change the script name right here from game logic simple to script.py for Python, not script. You can name it whatever you want, but I'm just gonna name it script for tutorial purposes, and then delete this part that I have highlighted here. Okay, so last time we made a function where we could just call it and it would scale it up. Well, this time we're gonna make a function where we can call it and then type in a few numbers and it'll scale it up as much as we want. So let's just get started. Let's make our function, and to do that you just put your it right here. You can't put it out here, or it's not going to work, because then it'll think it's part of this main function. So we're going to make a completely new function, and let's call it def. Not call it def, but let's type in def because we're defining the function. And let's just call this scale. Let's say size plus. Then we're gonna add these two parentheses and then add a colon. So the next thing you want to do is you want to type in these two parentheses, type in x, y, and z. So what this is we are giving it we're giving this definition. Okay, so you'll know how if we say like apply movement or something, we have to type in certain numbers into these parentheses. Well, this x, y, and z make it so that we have to type in three numbers whenever we call this. So if we call it like this, size plus, so we're just calling the name and telling it to run whatever in here. We have to type in 1 for x, so it doesn't matter what number it is, but we have to type in a number for x. I mean, like a value for y, and a value for z. So 10, 22, and 44. Okay, so we have to put in values for that. Okay, so now let's go in here. Let's copy this because we want this to be inside our size plus. And then let's say we're gonna do exactly what we did in the last episode with the local scaling. So own dot local scale. Local scale with the scales S capitalized, and then dot x. Let's just copy that, say dot x, change this to dot z and dot y. So now we're gonna say what this is equal to. So local scale dot x, we're gonna set it so since this is size plus, so we're gonna be adding on to make it bigger. We're gonna say this is gonna plus equal whatever value we type in for x. So right now we're plus equal 10. So let's say plus equal x, plus equal x. So this x right here and this x right here are not the same thing. So we could change this to ABC, and I'm just gonna do that to make it less confusing. So we're gonna set our local scale dot x. We're gonna set it equal to a. We're gonna add on a to it, so we're gonna plus equal b for y, and then plus equal c for z. So now you'll see that if we press P to play this, this guy will just start growing rapidly. Let's just change this to something like 0.10, 0.22, and 0.44. Okay, so let's just press P, and you'll see that he starts growing up like that. Now if we change all these to the same number, he will just grow up into a cube. So 0.1 right here. Okay. Okay, so now let me explain this to you a little better. Okay, so we made a new function, right? And we called it size plus, and then we gave it 3 variables that we're going to have to type in values for in here in order for it to work. Okay, and then we just say exactly what we say up here because we need it to type in own. And then we're going to say that our local scale, and since this is one for size plusing, not size setting, so we can make one for size setting, but we could just do that with local scale like this, so why would we do that? So anyways, we're going to say size plus, so we're going to say our local scale, so the size of our cube is going to plus equal the value that we put in for A, so this first one is going to be A, so it's going to plus equal 0.1 all the time. And then our Y is going to plus equal B all the time. And then our C is going to plus equal, then our Z is going to plus equal C all the time. So we can change these to any numbers we want, and we can call it whenever we want, but make sure that if you are going to call this in another script, you have to copy and paste this, because we can't just call it from this script. I actually don't know how, I don't actually know if you can import another script you've made, but that is how you make your own little size up thing. And we can let's just play around with that. So let's say something like if hold on, let's add another sensor. So add a sensor, add a keyboard sensor, or actually add a mouse sensor. Add a mouse sensor, and we're gonna put this at left button. Okay, so left button is the one that we usually use to click, and we're just gonna put it into this Python. So let's just name this to click. Okay, then we're gonna say inside of our size plus function, not inside of our main function, but in our size plus function, say click is equal to cont, so our controllers dot sensors, so cont dot sensors, and then add these two library, let's just call them library cards, and then these two quotations, and then what it is called, so whatever it's named down here, we're going to put in here. So click, make sure you spell it right. I'm going to move my cursor out of the way, C-L-I-C-K. Okay, so then right here we're going to take all of we're going to say like if click dot positive. So if this is positively happening, and then after every if statement you add a colon. So if this is positively happening, we want this to happen. But we also have to move these over one tab, so just highlight it and then press your tab button, because we need to make it so that it's inside this if statement. So let's get rid of this if right here. So if click dot positive, then I want you to plus the scales. Now let's press P to play. So you'll see that it's not scaling, but if we click, scales. If we click, scales, click, and scales. So there we go. That is how we make our own little size up thing. So that's pretty cool. Please like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, this might have been a little confusing, ask them down below, but I will see you in the next tutorial. Oh, sorry about that. Bye.